Hi there, my name is Emily Whitford, and this is my second speech for my public speaking class. I just got back from traveling to Cambodia from a medical mission, and I realized something very, very interesting. So, apparently, they do celebrate Chinese New Year there among a lot of their Khmer people, so I wanted to investigate that and see what I could find. So on that day that they typically celebrate Chinese New Year, we were actually visiting at the time. We were there for about 3 weeks. And I noticed a sound that was getting gradually just louder and louder that was coming from the spa area, which I found interesting. And we were sitting there having breakfast, and as time kind of went on, we noticed that it started to get louder, and the drummers and these kind of elongated dragon costumes, people in dragon costumes came out, and they were walking around the pool and they were performing, and it just kind of made me want to investigate that and just see where that all comes from and why they celebrate it in the way that they do. And really, Chinese New Year, I've noticed over a long period of time, it's really evolved, and the customs have undergone a really long development process. Now, the Chinese New Year is also known as the Spring Festival, as it is commonly known. But in Cambodia, the actual holiday itself is not considered a public holiday, so much of just the Khmer people who do live in Cambodia, they do celebrate it due to their ancient roots and their ancestry relating to Chinese New Year. So it's not exactly known when in Cambodia they started celebrating Chinese New Year, but many of the countries in the southeastern Asian region have taken part in this holiday. It is relatively unclear when exactly the Chinese New Year began in China, but I do know that it had originated sometime around the Shang Dynasty, which was around 1766 BC to 1122 BC. And these Chinese New Year traditions, symbols, and rituals are also meant to kind of wipe the slate clean, have good prosperity and happiness into the upcoming new year. So Chinese New Year is kind of known for many myths relating to how its tradition itself became what it is known today, and the symbolism by the current rituals. And one of the most popular traditions or myths is of the mythical creature, the Nian. So he is said to have ate lots of livestock and crops and even people on the Chinese New Year. So in order to protect themselves, they would put food at their doors in order to protect themselves and their families. And it was also said from a wise man from a long, long time ago that he was scared of loud noises and the color red. So what the Chinese people would actually do is they would put red lanterns and scrolls and even use firecrackers to scare away this creature from their homes, or they would use crackling bamboo in order to scare this creature away. Now, much of these cultural traditions that we just spoke about and myths have created what we know of much of Chinese New Year today, but much of these myths have also changed, but has continued some of the same traditions that we're aware of, which is like items that are red in color. That's commonly what a lot of us do know. The dancing dragons in the streets and celebrations and family traditions, that have been in their culture since Chinese New Year really began nearly 3,500 years ago. In the year 1912, the government actually decided to abolish the Chinese New Year and the lunar calendar, and instead they adopted the Gregorian calendar and made January 1st the official start of the new year. And then in 1949, the Chinese New Year renamed it the Spring Festival, so hence why we think of the Chinese New Year as the Spring Festival now. Nowadays, it's seen as much of a celebration more of Chinese culture itself, but much of where it has originated has really ceased to exist. It still holds a lot of its traditions, but it's currently more of really a festival than rather a cultural and religious tradition. Upon researching this topic, I did gain a lot of appreciation for the celebration and the culture of Chinese New Year. It appears that a lot of the culture has been diminished with the current modern world, but it is important to maintain some of the traditions with our societies that continue to modernize. Thank you all for listening. I hope that you learned a little bit of something. Have a good day.